So let's go ahead and talk about Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar. Let's talk about his game against Kentucky. I mean, my model has him as having the highest grade of any SEC quarterback this week. Christian, I'm sure you're able to talk about that in more detail as well here in a few. But before we dive into my biggest takeaways, Braxton, hit me with the stats real quick if you have it. I know I kind of put you on the spot here, but you'll be the stat guy with the week for me.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like you said, impressive game from him. 20 for 26, 77% completion percentage, 396 yards through the air, 15.2 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did have a couple sacks and all of that, but really kind of going through his season, probably the best game of his season so far. He's 166 completions out of 252 attempts. He's averaging 66% completion percentage, 2,300 yards, 9.3 yards per attempt, 18 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions.
Awesome.
Add to that 91 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. So
yeah,
he's playing really well.
He did this against a defense that's pretty good, right? Against Kentucky defense. I don't have the stats put up in front of me, but they made Arch Manning, who you have your opinion on him, made him not seem like such a good quarterback, which maybe he's not, maybe he is. I guess we'll see. But the biggest takeaways for me from Joey Aguilar and watching him yesterday, and again, we're reacting. It's a recap show, SEC recap show. It was his accuracy and the ability to push the ball downfield. His adjusted completion percentage was right under 81, if I'm not mistaken. And like you said, Braxton, yards per attempt were 15.2. He had 7 attempts where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield, and he completed every single one of those attempts. I mean, I don't have all the stats put up in front of me, but I would venture to say there's several SEC quarterbacks that this year that don't even have 7 completions where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield. So he was 7 of 7 of those attempts. Again, my model had him as the highest rated quarterback this week. So it was, to me, my biggest takeaway, if I have 1 or 2 takeaways to talk about Aguilar, was his ability to have a high completion percentage, his ability to stay accurate while pushing the ball downfield. And Kentucky was never really in the game per se. Mm-hmm. They were doing just enough, like they were just enough that had Tennessee to force them to push the ball downfield more and more. So yeah, Aguilar, hell of a game, best game of the week, most likely, if you're just looking at stats of SEC quarterbacks. But the biggest takeaway was his ability to go 7 for 7 on those type of balls. Christian, what you got for me? What kind of breakdown we getting in with Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly here that from the highest level, this was his best game of the season. But he's a quarterback that is already has a very high completion rate, and it just compounded this week following the bounce back against his performance against Alabama. One thing that really stands out to me is his ability to throw 20 less pass attempts and still have 100 more yards, 130 more yards versus the game against Alabama, while having an accuracy of 80.8%. I mean, if you look at his accuracy across the year, it's still one of the highest in the entire NCAA, but especially in the SEC. And he just compounded that this week with his performance against Kentucky. So I kind of agree wholeheartedly. I mean, he was able to get the ball down the field pretty easily. Though Kentucky does have a pretty good defensive back lineup, he was still able to kind of break that coverage, look at the second and third options, get the ball down the field pretty easily. So it's excellent game overall from him. He was able to have one of the highest actually passing grades and overall offensive grades of any quarterback we've seen in a game this year. So it's just kind of interesting to look at it from that perspective, but a quarterback that is already very accurate and has a very high completion rate.
It's interesting we talk about his accuracy because coming out of App State, he wasn't extremely accurate. You even saw it early in the season, missing some throws. So I think it's a testament to his ability to develop and just the offensive system in general, right? Just the ability for Heupel to put him in position to succeed here. Braxton, were you able to get any eyes on this game? Were you able to have any takeaways from Aguilar here against Kentucky?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that and y'all kind of hit on it, but he was taking what the defense gave him a lot of the time, at least 7 times. What the defense was giving him was the deep ball, but he was taking what the defense gave him. He wasn't trying to do too much. And part of that may have been because he felt free because Kentucky really was never in this game. I mean, they would kind of keep it close and keep it close enough to where you weren't trying to just run out the clock. But he looked very free to do whatever he wanted to with the rock. And 20 of 26, a couple of drops there, completion accuracy rate 80%. You rarely see that in college football. So I mean, he overall one of the best games from a quarterback I've seen all year.
Awesome. Chris, were you trying to add something else to the?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to actually just show his the passing grade for the week. It was a near perfect 99.9.
Wow.
So I think that just shows the testament of how he's able to kind of bounce back from the Alabama game, but already just has one of the higher deep ball grades across the.
Again, guys, check out the link that we'll have if you want more detail like this on in-season college football sports. Check it out. It's really good stuff. Yeah, and the last thing with Aguilar before we move on is, and like you mentioned, Braxton, they were always ahead just enough, but Kentucky got, I think it was 28-7, and then Kentucky made it 28-21. Their quarterback actually had a pretty damn good game himself as well. And then from there, I think that's the closest it got from there. Now, while we're on it, I'm sure Tennessee fans wouldn't mind hearing us talk about Kentucky's quarterback, Cutter Boley, right? Yeah, he brought his best game of his young career. Christian, I don't know if you can pull up some of his stats, but this has to be his best game. I mean, if you look at it, he had, what was his, Braxton, go ahead and read those stats. So you get the stats out for me.
Yeah, I mean, very similar game, 26 of 35, nearly 75% completion percentage, 346 yards, 9.9 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Also ran the ball 7 times for 31 yards. So, this was, I mean, looking at his whole season, this was a big step in the right direction that I'm sure a lot of those Kentucky fans are excited to see.
He kept them in the game, man. Like, I say kept them in the game, made it respectable, right? Like if you watch the game was probably could have been even more than it was, but Kentucky hasn't had a quarterback like that. Even Will Levis didn't put those numbers. You know what I mean? Like they just haven't had those type of quarterback plays. So you got to be happy if you are a Kentucky fan. Christian, you got some cool stuff pulled up. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can just look at his progression from the South Carolina game through Georgia, Texas, and now the Tennessee game. I mean, it's his best game of the season by far. 362 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. But it really does show, I guess we can look at probably just his overall passing grade. You know, it's pretty consistent with how he played against Georgia and Texas, but against this Tennessee defense is probably one of the more staunch defenses he's faced thus far this season, and still able to put up 5 touchdowns.
And like you mentioned, you know, playing Georgia and Texas has helped him to develop, right? So then he's able to have these type of games here. So again, Tennessee fans, if you're a Kentucky fan watching, like the video, share, subscribe. We put out SEC quarterback content on a weekly basis. If you've been watching, you'll know that we've been gone for a few weeks. Well, we're back. We apologize. And then check out the in-season college football link below. So like, share, subscribe, and then check out the link below. You can subscribe to that, and you're going to be able to get breakdowns, get previews, not just like this, but we'll have like written reports that we'll be able to send out down the road here. So